And welcome back into season number 23, episode number 2 of Laker Connections, your only place for all things Laker sports. I am Ken Gerard, coincided by the lucky Lucas McGarry. And Lucas, before we get started tonight, how you doing?
I'm doing really good. Came off of a nice, fun, relaxing break, and I'm ready to get back into some Laker sports action.
I'm also missing the Outer Banks, but we'll get into that later. But Lucas, I think it is time for our Wheelhouse Wire. For those at home who do not know what the Wheelhouse Wire is, simply put, we're going to talk about all things Oswego hockey, and it will be the last Wheelhouse Wire of the entire season,
Very
Lucas.
tragic.
As the regular season and now the postseason are in the rearview mirror since our last episode. We got a lot to talk about, but Lucas, I'm going to have you start us off with the men's SUNYAC team, who are now SUNYAC champions.
What a historic season it was for the Oswego women.
Break the fourth wall. That's not.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that is not the right one. So.
Well, let's talk about the men's team. So
yeah,
they come into
so the men's team,
championship.
They did. Yep.
And they go against Plattsburgh. So a team that they were 0-2 in the last 2 years against. They could not beat them in the postseason. And this year they come in and they successfully flip the bird. And that's the first time they've ever done it in a long time.
In all the years that I've been here at Oswego, I'm a junior now, and I've watched them lose in the playoffs to Plattsburgh twice in my first 2 years here. To see them win now after those 2 years, it's a really, really good feeling as an Oswego fan.
It's exciting. And, I mean, in a way, they haven't won since 2014. So even us at TOP had a little bit of fun because we got to call a game that a lot of people are jealous of. Shout out Kyle Spizak and Burge and all those guys who I know were just a wee bit jealous of getting to that photo of me holding up that trophy. But anyway, it was a great time. It was a great game to call. It was a lot of fun. It looked like the Lakers had control through the majority of this game, and the Plattsburgh was a team we talked about. They come back down 3-0 with 9 minutes left in the third against Cortland. They come in and like, oh, all right, maybe this is the team that could pull up an upset of that magnitude. And, well, in this one, they just weren't able to do it, and the Lakers hold on to win that one and hold the Cardinals finally for the first time in 3 years at home.
Yeah, I was really, really worried when they went down 3 goals in that third period, and we were just like, Plattsburgh's done this now twice in the playoffs. There's a really good chance they can come back and kill all of our dreams. But Oswego held on, and they were the SUNYAC champs.
Well, let's talk about the women's team now. What a historic season it was for the Oswego women's ice hockey team. They ended their season with a 22-3-2 record and ended at 7 on the USCHO poll. Now, they went 15-1-2 in conference for the entire season. Now, that one loss to Plattsburgh in the North Country, 2-0. And that score would come back to haunt them in the SUNYAC championship as the Lakers dropped that game 2-0 against the 2025 women's ice hockey SUNYAC champions, the Plattsburgh State Cardinals. Now, Lucas, what went wrong for the Lakers in this one, and what can we look forward to in the next season?
For what went wrong, I could not tell you what went wrong. They just completely rolled over onto their backs and just gave up in the championship game. They played so strong all season, and then with the game on the line, when the lights were bright, they just crumbled under the pressure against Plattsburgh. And just watching them, you just saw the whole time, just no offensive pressure. They only managed 17 shots the whole game, like you see there, while Plattsburgh outshot them, racking up 28 shots. It's just a really, really embarrassing way to finish the season, honestly, after doing so well. And I hate saying that because they had such a good season, but then you roll over and you just basically die and you lose 2-0. You don't score anything in the SUNYAC title. It's just a very, very disappointing finish for them.
It is, and I look at it as a team that had so much pressure on them all season long. They have a historic run, their best record of all time, and it's only their second season in the SUNYAC, and they make it into the championship. They had that pressures coming in as a number 4 squad. They knew they were win and in, and if they lost, they might have lost in the pairwise poll to Colby, which we will get to. But let's move on now to the men's team, who did get into the tournament with that automatic bid after defeating the Cardinals. So, Oswego celebrated after finally defeating Plattsburgh State and successfully flipping the bird in the SUNYAC championship. The first championship win since back-to-back wins in 2013 and 2014. That winning feeling would come crashing down in the first round of the NCAA tournament when the Lakers met with the tournament first-timers, the Trine Thunder. It was controlled through most of the game for the Lakers as they traveled to Angola, Indiana, for a tough test against the Thunder. It'd be a close one until it all broke loose late in the second, and the game ended in a 4-1 loss, ending their season. Now, Lucas, what a season it was for Oswego. Let's talk about it.
No, yeah, I mean, when I called my first game, I was an analyst on the scene for the first game that the Oswego men's team had, and everyone on the panel basically was like, this might be a rebuild season for the Lakers. And now fast forwarding to now and seeing how they won the SUNYAC title, they had so many new guys everywhere, just so much talent. on that we didn't even know that they had. All of those guys that they picked up. Kudos to Gosek. He knew exactly what he was doing, and that recruiting class that he pulled in was absolutely. You couldn't have said it better. It 100% is. So for them to do that and flip the bird, quite literally, and flip the whole script of what their season was supposed to be, absolutely impressive. And then to lose to Trine, I mean, they were the underdogs. We pretty much probably knew it was going to happen, but a really, really good season for them overall. And then the Oswego State women's hockey team finished the 2024-25 season with an outstanding record of 22-3-2 overall and 15-1 in the SUNYAC, earning the top seed in the conference tournament. However, despite their impressive performance, they, like Kenny said, fell 2-0 to Plattsburgh State in the SUNYAC championship, missing out on the automatic NCAA tournament berth. The Lakers had strong chances, but this loss left Oswego hoping for an at-large bid. But it was Colby College who went 18-7-2 and had a very odd SUNYAC, or not SUNYAC, but a conference record of 9-5-2. 0-1-2.
Hello.
That earned the final spot in the NCAA tournament. Colby, despite not winning their conference, had a stronger overall record and were favored by the selection committee due to the strength of their schedule and their national ranking. A fortunate end to a truly historic season for the Lakers, but it's now added motivation for next year.
Yeah, and it's tough for that Lakers team because when you look at some of the side-by-side stats, Oswego on the ice was probably the better team. And that's, again, you don't know because they didn't meet up and they didn't play. But I will say, it is very heartbreaking if you're an Oswego fan or member of that squad, just because of the fact that Colby College's conference championship game, which they lost, I might add.
Conference semifinals.
Conference semifinals.
They didn't even make it, didn't even make it to the conference finals.
They lost at a neutral site, and Oswego lost at home. So if the SUNYACs were at a neutral site, the Lakers would have made it into the tournament. But because it was not, they missed out. But, Lucas,
really
that's all the time we have for our A block. And our final, unfortunately, Wheelhouse Wire for the school year, I guess, unfortunately, in the semester. But that'll be back in the near future. But we're going to a quick 2-minute break. When we come back, it'll be time for the weekend recap. Or week ahead, whatever. One of the two.
One of the two. We'll see you after the break.
Goodbye.
Say, President Stanley, whenever there's bad weather, who would you turn to?
I'd turn to Storm Team 10.
No, but you've got to say it like this. Storm Team 10. Say it with me. Storm Team 10.
Roll it.
Jill told me it was Kitty from Glee. Yeah, what is it?
Al Roker.
Welcome back into Season 23, Episode number 2 of Laker Connections, your only place for all things Laker sports. I'm Kane Gerard, co-hosted by the luxurious Lucas
thank you for
McGarry.
that
I am
one.
going to run out of, I believe they're adjectives.
L
adjectives
yeah.
at the end of this one. But, Lucas, I think we're going to get straight into the weekend recap.
Sounds
So
good.
with spring sports here at Oswego in full swing, it is time to do our weekend recap. We
Woo!
will cover scores from
recap.
a couple of squads who played games at home recently. And Lucas, this is more of a midweek recap with the women's lacrosse team's matchup happening just yesterday versus Fredonia. So take me what happened to that one.
Yeah, the Oswego State women's lacrosse team had a dominant 21-6 victory over Fredonia in their recent matchup. The Lakers fired off 36 shots with 28 landing on goal, while Fredonia managed just 15 shots with 9 on goal. Oswego also controlled possession, forcing 20 turnovers compared to Fredonia's 9. The team's offense was explosive. They had 6 different players with hat tricks, including 2 players with 4 goals. Their defense was stout throughout, and goalie Alana Yakovisi recorded 4 saves. I think this is a very strong performance, and coach should definitely be excited for what's next.
Absolutely. I mean, the team's off to a hot start. You saw some very large victories early on in that non-conference
a bunch
play.
of huge games for the Lady Lakers.
Bunch
started
of
off.
huge games for these women's teams at Oswego, but
It's really
this
exciting,
one,
honestly.
It is, and this is another big one. I mean, 21-6, a huge win, and look at the shot differential on your screen. 36-15, 28 on goal compared to Fredonia's 9.
Yeah, that's
just
a big difference. It's a huge momentum builder.
It's not a winning recipe. But I guess it's enough. We'll talk about that. Let's move on to baseball now. So, the Oswego State men's baseball team suffered a 5-3 loss to Fredonia in the recent matchup against the Fredonia Blue Devils. The Lakers were out-hit by Fredonia 11-4 and struggled to capitalize on their opportunities. Fredonia pitcher Morgan Zientra went all 9 for the Blue Devils, pitching a gem. Oswego did manage to go up 2-0 going to the 6th with Joel Hayner pitching as well. But with one swing of the bat and a 2 RBI single later, it was tied. Then it was Alec Conrad for the Lakers coming in to relieve Hayner in the 8th. That would make or break the game, as he would give up 1 run in the 8th and 2 in the 9th, giving the Blue Devils the edge to shut the door after the Lakers tried to tie a late game push, scoring 1 in the 9th. Lucas, you wrote this horribly.
I did not write it horribly. It might have tongue twisted a little bit. Okay, I did not write it horribly. You could not read it properly. I wrote that fine.
You tongue twisted me so
I
bad.
did tongue twister. I didn't realize.
Why would you do that to
I didn't
me?
realize it was a tongue twister until you started to read it. That's my bad. I think I wrote it fine. You were just yapping, but I mean.
Wow, dude. Well, let's look at some of the stats on the screen. I mean, they meet up again this weekend. We'll get into that.
We're gonna get into that.
We'll get there. But Fredonia with a 5-3 win. 4 hits for Fredonia compared to Oswego's 11. It's crazy to me that they still could win on that stat. And 1 error on each squad. I mean, it doesn't really make all that large of a difference. And I guess with opening day in the MLB, today's also opening day for the Lakers at home. But Lucas, I'm going to stop it right there. I think it's all the time we have for our week ahead. So we're going to go to another quick break. And when we come back, it'll be time. You guessed it, the week ahead. Stick around. You're watching Laker Connections right here on WTOP 10.
What's going on?
Yeah, we go on at like 11:30. It's like
No.
What do you mean no?
It's 10:30.
10:30?
Matt, it's 10:30.
What do you mean it's 10:30?
Hey, don't touch that. That's my ladder.
Hey, man.
Whoa. Did you know this book was already discounted 10%?
Wow.
Wow.
Get a close up of that one.
Broadcast news.
Look at that.
Can we go back inside? I want to sleep in the studio again.
We'll deep dive into our feelings in our Real Talk segment. Stay tuned because it's about to get real.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to Major Discussions.
Welcome back into Season 23, Episode number 2 of Laker Connections, your only place for all things Laker sports. I'm Ken Gerard, co-hosted by the lucky Lucas McGarry.
You just used Lucky.
Oh, did I?
You used Lucky first block. Yeah, come on, Kenny. You used
Ludicrous.
Lucky.
I like that.
All right,
Ludicrous.
so we're Lucky,
the ludicrous
luxurious, and then
Lucas
ludicrous.
McGarry.
All right,
Now,
sounds
Lucas,
good.
no more yapping. Let me finish my reader here.
Go ahead.
We have discussed the past, and now it's time to look ahead at the week ahead. Lucas, kick things right off. Let's pick up right where we left off before the break. Take me ahead to what the baseball team is doing this weekend.
Yeah, so tomorrow the Oswego State men's baseball team will look to bounce back in their doubleheader against Sony Fredonia after a tough 5-3 loss. Fredonia enters the game with an 8-4 overall record and a 1-0 overall record in conference play, while Oswego holds a 9-6 record and is 2-2 in SUNYAC. Fredonia has been hitting well with a team batting average of .305, while Oswego is slightly behind at .281. In the recent game, the Lakers were out-hit by Fredonia 11-4, struggling offensively all game. Oswego will need to wake up their bats and really crack down on the pitching if they are to improve and get a couple of W's tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Quick shout out to Fredonia, Alex Gannon, Mohanison alumni. Shout out, Alex. I'm rooting for you and nobody else. But besides that, for the Lakers, yeah, I mean, looking at the records, it's a pretty even matchup. I mean, in conference 2-2 compared to the 1-0. Apparently, Fredonia has no team average, but for Oswego, 305 is a good average. So, I mean, you know, it's going to be a tough matchup. I mean, it was today, as we saw. And it's a close game, and it was obviously not like a blowout on either side, like some of the lacrosse games we've seen early on. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the squad. I mean, again, I'm not confident in either way this team can go in this one. I think it might be a split series.
Yeah, no, I fully agree, especially after the way they played. And you saw they put in a reliever in the 8th inning, and he gave up 3 runs to lose the game. So I feel like that's a coaching issue of he didn't put the right guy in there. So I think something you got to think about is when am I putting these guys in at the right spot so I'm not putting them in a situation that they're not going to thrive in. So you got to think about something like that. But you know this team, you already played them, so I think now both teams have a better idea of what they're going to be going up against, and I think it should be interesting to see how they play out over 2 games.
It absolutely is. But moving on to the softball team now. On Friday at 3 p.m., the Oswego State women's softball team will face Clarkson in what is a very even matchup on paper. Clarkson enters the game with a 5-7 record and a .246 team batting average, while Oswego, they have a slight edge over them with a 6-8 record and a .285 team batting average. Both teams have shown solid pitching performances, while Clarkson holding a 3.17 team ERA, while Oswego slightly better with a 2.90. The season still only just beginning. This game is just like all the other early season openers. It will be crucial for both teams to use to build momentum. The Lakers will need strong pitching performance and a wakening of their bats to pick up a win over the Golden Knights. I like saying wakening the bats. We said that a lot today.
Did we?
I feel like we said it a couple of times.
I think I might have just said, well, wakening up the bats because the men's team for baseball didn't do so well last time. But no, I think it goes without saying. Obviously, waking up the bats in either baseball or softball, you gotta do it if you want to win. But I think for the softball team, it's not the way they wanted to start the season, but it's not the worst start that they've had. At least since I've been there, they've struggled a lot. But I think now they have close to a 500 record, and I think that is improvement from past seasons. So I think for them, just building, and you really just got to try and get better as a whole team.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just going to be that building on things. And you say wakening the bats as something you said a lot, but you really can't win in this sport if you don't hit the ball. So, I mean, as simple as that sounds, it is very fundamental and important for both these squads. Oswego having the slight edge. It'll be very good to see how they do against an evenly matched team before we start getting into the depths of the SUNYAC and before we get into that late April into early May and into playoffs. It'll be interesting to see what they can do against such a tough and, well, tightly contested opponent.
Yeah, no, I think for both of these teams, you got to look at your base players, the ones that are really going to make a difference in every single game. And I think if you rely on them, you're going to be able to work stuff out. But yeah, we're going to now take a look at the women's lacrosse team moving from the field, from the diamond over to the field. On Saturday at 1 p.m., the Oswego State women's lacrosse team will look to extend their strong season as they face off against SUNY Morrisville. Morrisville enters the game with an 0-3 record and has struggled offensively, averaging just 4.6 goals per game while giving up 22 goals per game. The Mustangs recently suffered a tough 7-29 loss to Oneonta. In contrast, Oswego comes in at 5-2, averaging a dominant 15.8 goals per game and allowing just 8. The Lakers have had impressive wins, including 2 games where the final score was 20-2. And with both a strong offense and strong defense, I think Oswego should have a very, very good time taking advantage of a much, much weaker conference opponent and really getting a boost in those conference rankings early.
Yeah, I mean, Oswego with such a hot start early on in the season. Again, we talked early on about those non-conference matchups, and, well, they were huge wins against schools like Keuka College. So if they come into this one, they already lay the smackdown on Fredonia. Yeah. It's just a matter if they're going to lay the smackdown again on Mooresville. Building up on these easier opponents is important because keep in mind, not this upcoming week, but the week following, they're going to meet up with an opponent that they have still never beat. That's Cortland. And that's a tough team for both the men's and women's team. They are coming into town, and it's sure to be a good one. I'm very sure of it. But these games are important for that because you got to build in the fundamentals. Even if a team that you think you can beat, you still have to beat them. You can't come in with the mindset you're going to win, especially when you have a team like Cortland coming in soon.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you got to build up because Cortland is the team to beat, without a doubt. That's all you can say.
Absolutely. Yeah, Cortland's a tough team to beat. But Mooresville, again, don't come in with the mindset that you're just going to come in and walk right through this one. You're definitely going to have to come in and put on a good performance to beat any team in the SUNYAC. And every single conference matchup is an important one no matter what time of the season it is. But, Lucas, that's all the time we have for our week ahead. When we come back, it'll be time for everybody's favorite segment, minus the Mike Neckers part of it.
Minus Mike Neckers.
Laker Showdown. See you after the break.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
I guess I have really been looking for love in this dating app. Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
We'll deep dive into our feelings in our Real Talk segment. Stay tuned because it's about to get real.
What's going on?
Yeah, dude, we go on at like 11:30. It's like
No.
What do you mean no?
It's 10:30.
10:30?
Yeah, it's 10:30.
What do you mean it's 10:30?
Hey, don't touch that. That's my ladder.
Hey, man.
Whoa. You know this book was already discounted 10%?
Wow.
Wow.
Get a close-up of that one.
Broadcast
Need to
news.
look at that.
Can we go back inside? I want to sleep in the studio again.
Welcome back into Season 23, Episode number 2 of Laker Connections, your home for everything Laker sports and lovable, Lucas. It is time to welcome back our Laker Showdown moderator, unfortunately, Michael Neckers. Lucas, why don't you explain to those at home what is a Laker Showdown?
So basically, you have two Lakers, myself and Kenneth, and we are going to be battling in a series of 3 games that our good friend Michael will be listing off or reading out to us, and he will decide what answer is better, and it will be best of 3. So, Mike, whenever you are ready, go ahead with the first question.
Well, gentlemen, my first question is really directed at Lucas.
Okay.
So, of course, NFL free agency has been pretty crazy all season, and one team that's still missing a really key part of their team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, my first question: who is the Pittsburgh's QB for this coming season? Lucas, you're up first.
Jackson Dart. We're drafting him in the next coming draft, and we're just going to say, you know what? We're trying it. No, they're okay. We know exactly what answer they're going to give. Kenny's going to give a really not funny answer because it's not happening. So I'm going to go with a realistic answer. Jackson Dart. I think he's a really talented guy, and I think he can be the future. Go ahead, Kenny. Say you're funny.
Daniel Jones. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers. It's not really a debate. He didn't go to the Giants. The Giants actually got the better of the two, in my opinion. They got Russell Wilson. Mr. Unlimited.
He's not going to the Steelers.
And also, Jameis, the funniest locker room in the NFL, may I add.
The Giants are set.
Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Tommy Cutlets in the same locker room. You kidding? I'm going on a tangent. Oh, yeah,
we
that's
got a little
Kevin
video.
Durant.
Kevin Durant! Oh my gosh!
No, come on. Can we watch those? Can we watch
put
those
it back
highlights?
on. I want to watch it.
Put the highlights back.
Kenny,
It's Aaron Rodgers.
You've got all those guys, and you're still going to go 4-13 this season.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to give you the point. Going to give you the point for the first
Take it
one.
for Manning.
Aaron Rodgers is not going to be the point.
He's going to be a Steeler.
All right, gentlemen, you ready for question number 2?
He better not be.
Yes.
Ready for question number 2?
Yes.
With it being opening day for the MLB season, let's hear your way too early predictions. Who's winning it all?
Oh, it's the Yankees, 100% without a doubt.
Did I say you could go first?
I don't care.
Did I say you could
I
go
don't care.
first? Well, I guess you're going first.
It's yeah, I'm taking it because I need to beat Kenny here, and it's going to be the Yankees 100% without a doubt. They are on a little bit of an avenging season, and I think last year they had a downfall, and I think now they're going to come back. Kenny, what are you checking your watch for? You're a Yankees fan too. You just can't accept it like I can.
Here's the thing.
Yankees are winning.
Well, here's the thing. I'm a Yankees fan, but I'm also a realist, and it's unfortunate you just don't know the Dodgers are going back to back.
They're not.
They have so much money. They have so much talent.
Doesn't matter.
And it doesn't matter because Juan the sellout
right?
Soto is a Met. And I'm telling you right now, go ahead. Give me
The Dodgers are sellouts. It worked one time. It's not going to work again.
They got their Mickey Mouse ring in 2020. They absolutely spankied the Yankees in 2024.
They did
and
spanky
they're
the
gonna
Yankees.
Spank the Astros in the World Series this year. That's right. The Astros are going in 2. And the Mets ain't
Charlie,
doing nothing.
Hey,
Charlie,
your time's up.
The Mets are not
Stop
making
talking.
it. The Mets are not making it.
Stop talking. As a delusional Yankees fan, although I don't think it's going to happen, I have to go with Lucas's answer. The Yankees are winning it all this year. And gentlemen, last but not least, this one's a little different, not something we normally get to do. If you could have dinner with any one person in all of sports history, who are you getting dinner with? I'll give you 10 seconds to think.
I have my answer already.
I'll let him go then.
LeBron.
He's going first all 3 times?
LeBron James. There's no greater human being on the planet.
Scream it.
There's no LeBron! But there's no greater athlete on the planet. He has revolutionized a game like no other. LeBron is the greatest scorer. He's the greatest floor general. Every single attribute that goes with basketball, he's the greatest at.
Are you in love with him or something?
Yeah, I am. So I would love to have dinner with LeBron Lake King James.
Before you go, Kenny, would Bronny be there too?
Bronny can be there if he wants. Oh, no, it's totally fine. If he wants to show up, he can, but it's me and LeBron.
All right, Kenny, your turn.
I'll just be chaotic.
What's
Anyone in history?
See,
here's the
any
thing.
sports
figure
in
in history?
Any sports
Athlete,
figure in history.
broadcaster, anything.
You know what? I'm going to go with a weird one. I'm going to go with Babe Ruth. Now, here's why I say that. Now, athletes today, you're going to go and eat some keto garbage.
No, that's not a bad answer.
I am a big fella. Babe Ruth was known for eating food and just absolutely cranking the baseball. So I am going to go with Babe Ruth. I think he's largely in charge like me. I think I'll have a better dinner and a great conversation and learn something about the old Yankees when they were successful.
That's not a bad answer at all. I think LeBron's still greater.
LeBron,
Can we scream one more time?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
LeBron! Right,
no,
go ahead, Mike.
LeBron, my glorious Pookie, my king. Of course, I would love to see him win, but I think Kenny makes some really solid points over here. Athletes today treat their bodies like temples. Babe Ruth, exact opposite. He was having the time of his life.
That's super. No,
and I think I would really love to tag along for the time of my life with Babe Ruth on one night. So Kenny's gonna take this one.
That's
your winner, Kenny Gerard.
2-0. Keep count. Yeah, I beat you week 1 too.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yikes, bro! You got to step it up.
Yikes. Well,
because we have a crappy judge.
I love our judge. I think he does a great job.
No, you don't. You
think he does a great
You say
job.
nasty things
Control
about our
room
judge.
disagrees. Well, that's why you're in the control room and not out here talking. So mind your manners and get rid of that graphic.
LeBron!
Yeah.
All right, that's all the time
Control room disagrees.
We got about 45 seconds left. I've dropped something. I'm not quite sure
We
what.
can just chit chat.
Mom, I know you're watching. I love you. Love you, Mr. Bean. Love you, Kennedy.
Mr. Beast!
Mr. Beast!
What?
Wait,
My dog, Mr. Beast.
Oh, your dog's name Mr. Beast?
Yes.
Does he like Feastables?
No.
Oh, well, that's disappointing. Oh, he can't eat chocolate.
He likes steak, dude.
Right. Oh, well, that's a
Mr.
good choice.
Beast, Fancy Feast, Breaded Yeast, Lakers in 5.
Yankees are winning it all this year. Thank you for joining us for the second episode of season 23 of Laker Connection. We will see you in 1 week for episode number 3, season 23 of Laker Connection.
Good night!